In this video, we're going to talk about how to calculate compound interest. Before we do any calculations, there are formulas I would like you to know. The first one is A is equal to P open bracket 1 plus small letter r divided by n close bracket. This whole bracket is powered by NC, where P is the principal. The principal is the money invested or loaned. R is the rate of interest, and R is always in decimals. C is the time in years. A is the compounded amount, while N is the number of times compounding happens in a year. The second formula is compound interest is equal to amount, this amount here, minus principal. So this is the real formula for calculating compound interest. Before we start, like I said, N is the number of times that compounding happens in a year. So if you see something like compounding occurs daily, how many days are in a year? That's the question you want to ask yourself. In that case, a year contains 365 days. Is equal to 365 when compounding occurs daily. If a question has something like compounding occurs monthly, you want to ask yourself, how many months are in a year? We know that we have 12 months in a year, so N is equal to 12. In case where they ask us when compounding occurs quarterly, now we know that quarterly means 3 months together. So how many 3 months are in a year? That's 4 3 months. So N is equal to 4. If you say compounding occurs semi-annually, that's every 6 months, or half a year, that's every 6 months too. That means how many 6 months do we have in a year? So N will be equal to 2. In that case, if we say compounding occurs yearly, we have 1 year in 1 year. So that will be in that N will be equal to 1. This is the same case when compounding occurs annually. So let's quickly jump onto the questions. For our first question, we have $800 is invested for 1 year. If the interest rate is, we are given an A, B, C. So pick from our A. So if the interest rate is 5% compounded annually, determine the amount after 1 year. So first of all, write out our given values. So given values, we were told that $800 is invested for 1 year. That means the principal is equal to $800. We're also told that if the interest rate is 5%, interest rate is 5%. Now remember, this R is in decimal. So we convert this 5% to decimal, which is divided by 100. And then this is 0.05. We're now told to determine the amounts after 1 year. So the time frame we have in our hands is C is equal to 1 year. We're also told that 5% is compounded annually. That means compounding happens every once in a year. So that N is equal to 1. We are told to determine the amount after 1 year. So we are looking for A. We know that A is equal to P open bracket 1 plus R over N close bracket NC. The next step is simply substitute these values inside here, so that the amount here is equal to 800 open bracket 1 plus 0.05 over 1 close bracket 1 times 1. A is equal to 800 open bracket 1 plus 0.05 divided by 1 is 0.05. 1 times 1 is 1. We have A is equal to 800. 1 plus 0.05 is 1.05 to the power of 1. 1.05 to the power of 1 is still 1.05 times 800. So the given amount is therefore $840. So the amount compounded after 1 year is $840. Now, I would like you to try solving the question B yourself. Let's clean up space before we start. For question B, we still have to do the same things. Pick out the parameters. So we know that principal is equal to $800. So we know that if the interest rate is 3% compounded quarterly, the rate of interest is given as 3%. So we convert it to decimal. So 3 divided by 100 is equal to 0.03. Now, compounding happened at quarterly, so that n is equal to 4. We are told to determine the amount after 1 year. So the time is 1 year. And the amount is what we are looking for. So the amount is given us, like we did before, P from bracket 1 plus R over N to the power of NC. A, if we substitute our values from here onto here, is equal to 800 open bracket 1 plus R is 0.03 over 4. This is 4 times 1. A is equal to 800 open bracket 1 plus 0.03 divided by 4 is equal to 0.0075. 4 times 1 is 4. A is then equal to 800. So you make the additions in the brackets. This is equal to 1.0075 to the power of 4. A is equal to 800 times 1.0075 to the power of 4 is 1.03339191. If you multiply these two terms, it will be A is equal to $824.27. So this is the approximation to 2 decimal places. Okay, so that's the given amount when you're compounding of an interest rate of 3% is done quarterly for 1 year. Let's do question C. For question C, we are still picking out the same values for principals and some other variables. Principal is still equal to $800. The interest rate is 2% compounded semi-annually. So we know that the interest rate is 2%. We convert this to decimal. So decimal, we have 2 over 100, which is equal to 0.02. Compounding happens semi-annually. That's half a year. You have 2 half-a-year periods in a year. So n is equal to 2. The time period we're looking at is t is equal to 1 year. And we are still asked to find the amount. So we do what we've been doing before. The amount is equal to P open bracket 1 plus R over N to the power of NC. A is equal to P is 800. So you plug in 800. 1 plus R is 0.02. 0.02 divided by 2. And then to the power of 2 times 1. A is equal to 800 open brackets 0.02 divided by 2 is 0.01. So we have 1 plus 0.01. 2 times 1 is 2. This is equal to 800. Solving the things in the bracket, 1 plus 0.01 is 1.01 to the power of 2. This is equal to 800 times 1.01 to the power of 2 is 1.0201. So the amount A is equal to $816.08. So that's the amount that you get when you compound 2% semi-annually. Let's take another example. For this question, we are told that Jasmine deposits $520 into a savings account that has a 1% interest rate, compounded monthly. What would be the balance of Jasmine's savings after 2 years? We look at the important given values. So the given values from here So we are told that Jasmine deposits $520. So we know that P is equal to $520 into a savings account that has a 1% interest rate. Rate of interest is 1%. We convert it to decimal. That is equal to 1/100, which is equal to 0.01. And then compounding occurs monthly. So the interest rate is compounded monthly. That means our N value is equal to 12. What would be the balance of Jasmine's savings after 2 years? This is 2 years. So the time frame we are looking at is T is equal to 2. The balance of Jasmine's savings is the amount. So the amount is giving us P open brackets 1 plus R over N close brackets NC. Put all these values into this equation. We have amount is equal to 520 open brackets 1 plus 0.01 divided by N is 12. So 12. So this is 12 times 2, where A is equal to 520. Then we have 1 plus 0.01 divided by 12, 8.33 times 10 to the power of minus 4. 12 times 2 here is 24. If we add up what is inside the bracket, A is equal to 520. So adding up what is inside the bracket, that's equal to 1.00083333. And then we have close bracket 24. So we have A is equal to 520 times this to the power of 24 is 1.020193 to 6 decimal places. So if you apply this by this, so we have the amount to be equal to $530.5. So 1 decimal place. So the amount in Jasmine's account after 2 years would be $530.5. Let's take another example. For the last question, we are told that $500 is invested at 12% per annum. Per annum simply means per year. Calculate A, compound interest after 3 years and 5 months, and B, compound interest after 2 years and 9 months. Dealing with A first, let's write out our given values. Principal is equal to $500. 12% is the rate. Converting to decimal, we have 12 over 100, which is equal to 0.1. 12% per year. That means N is equal to 1. So we are told to calculate the compound interest after 3 years and 5 months. So our time is 3 years and 5 months. We are looking for our compound interest. Our time in this case should be measured in years and not years and months. So to do that, we need to convert this months to years. So that means T here will be equal to 3 years plus 5 over 12 years. And this is equal to 3 whole number, 5 over 12 years. This is a mixed fraction. We want to use it as an improper fraction so that when we are punching our calculators, we will not make mistakes. So to do that, we say 3 times 12, which is 36 plus 5, 41. So this is 41 over 12 years. And then we know that compound interest is equal to amount minus principal. So let's first calculate the amount. So the amount is giving us P, open bracket, 1 plus R over N, close bracket, N times T. A equal to P is 500, open bracket, 1 plus R is 0.12, N is 1, close brackets, N is 1 times C is 41 over 12. So that A is equal to let's clean up this space here. We know that C here is equal to 41 over 12 years. So this is equal to 500 open bracket. 0.12 divided by 1 is still 0.12. We have 1 plus 0.12, which is 1.12. So the power of 1 times 41 over 12, 41 over 12. A is equal to 500 times 1.12 to the power of 41 over 12 is 1.47286 to 5 decimal places. So if you multiply this and this, you have A is equal to $736.43 to 2 decimal places. Now our compound interest is giving us A minus P, and that's what we are asked to find. We can say, let's space this out, 736.43 minus 500. So that compound interest is equal to $236.43. So the compound interest is equal to $236.43 after 3 years and 5 months. You might want to pause the video and solve question B. But in the meantime, let's clean up space. For question B, good number of our parameters are still the same. So given B, our principal is still $500. Our rate is still 12%. In decimal, that's 0.12. Our N is still 1. Our time is equal to 2 years plus 9 over 12 years. Remember, we're using 9 over 12 when we're converting this month to years. This is equal to 9 over 12. If we convert this to an improper fraction, this will be 2 times 12, which is 24, plus 9. We have 33 over 12. We can break this down. 3 here is 4. 3 here is 11. So this is 11 over 4 years. And like before, we are asked to find the compound interest. Compound interest is unknown. First of all, we find the amount. So see, the amount is P, open bracket, 1 plus R over N, close bracket, NC. So we have A is equal to 500, open bracket, 1 plus 0.12 over 1, and 1 times 11 over 4. A is equal to 500, open bracket. If you sum up everything in the brackets, this is 1.12 to the power of 11 over 4. So we have A is equal to 500 times 1.12 to the power of 11 over 4 is 1.36568197 7 decimal places. And then A is equal to $682.84 into decimal places, so that the compound interest will be equal to 682.84 minus the principal. So this is 500, which is equal to $182.84. So the compound interest after 2 years and 9 months is $182.84. So that's how to calculate the compound interest. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Share with people who you think will find the video interesting, and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.